The Montreal Canadiens drafted 10 players in the 7 rounds of this year's NHL draft in Vegas. I'm going to give them an overall A- for the draft. Here's how I grade the individual picks themselves. So how this will work is I'm going to start in the 7th round, work my way up. I'm going to give you a little bit, whatever I can give you on the players, and we'll go from there. Just before we get started, I want to say that Montreal has the second best prospect pool in the league right now. They're loaded through the pipeline. I think in these picks after the first round, I think that they took some chances. They're kind of high risk, high reward type of picks. And I think Montreal could afford to do that at this point. They also picked some young guys that, if they graduate to the NHL, would be in a few years, not next year or the year after. So you got to look at it like that. And, after thinking about that, let's get started. At pick number 224 in the 7th round, it's the second to last pick of the draft. They took Rasmus Bergquist. He's a defenseman, 6'2", 181 pounds, from Skellefteå Junior, an under-20 team in Sweden. He's got good size, and they say he might still be growing. So at 6'2", and he might still be growing, he's going to be a big boy. Good hands, good puck protection, tough to play against, good active stick, a two-way player, and leadership qualities. And, for a guy in the 7th round, that sounds pretty good. And if you look at his numbers, there you go. This could be like a steal here in the 7th round. It's the 7th round. If you find a guy that graduates to the NHL, it's pretty much a steal. I think there's potential for that with Bergquist. I give him a B+ for drafting him. Also in the 7th round, at pick number 210, is Canin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He's a right wing, 6 feet, 161 pounds, so he needs to put on some muscle and some weight. He's from Dynamo St. Petersburg Junior over in Russia. He played in both the VHL and the MHL. He had 35 games in the VHL, 9 goals, 18 assists, 27 points, and then 7 games in the MHL with 7 goals, 2 assists, 9 points. He's a 19-year-old winger. He was ranked at 132nd by McKeen's. It was the only ranking that there was for him. I'm giving them a C because I don't know much about this guy. I think, like I said, high risk, high reward. Does he come over? Does he put on enough weight to be able to play in the NHL? We'll see. Next, we move up to the 6th round. At pick number 166, we get Ben Merill, a center, 6'4", 194 pounds, so he's a big boy, and he'll put on a little bit of weight. And if you look at his picture there, he looks like he's, about 10. St. Sebastian School is where they got him from. In 25 games, 18 goals, 19 assists, 37 points. He's one of those young, long-term projects. Merill will play in Penticton of the BCHL next season, then move on to college with Harvard, so he must be an intelligent kid, of the NCAA for the 25-26 season. I'm giving them a C here because I'm running some highlights to see what he's like. Like the high risk, high reward, I don't know, so it's kind of in the middle grade, a C. Next up into the 5th round at pick number 134, we find Mikas Vikvanigs. He's a goalie. He's 6'3", 159, so he's kind of wiry. He'll need to put on a little bit of weight. But he's got the good height, that's for sure. He's out of HS Riga in Latvia. I think it'll be a long road and a challenging one to the NHL for Vikvanigs. But I've read some stuff where people really think it's a good pick. I don't know here, I'll be honest. I think it's a ton of risk. But I don't know if there's a ton of upside here. But Montreal must see something in him. Either that or they pick the best goalie out of the goalies that were left in the draft. I'm not sure. He's got a little problem with consistency and rebound control. Also vision and tracking from, puck tracking, which, gotta have that to be a good NHL goalie. So like I said, I think Montreal either sees something in him or best goalie available at the time. I give it a C-. and we'll see where we go. Like I said, some people actually really like this pick. I don't know. Staying in the 5th round at pick number 130, we find Tyler Thorp. He's a right wing, listed right now at 6'5", 216 pounds. This is a big kid. Vancouver Giants of the WHL. Despite a late season injury that ended his season February 10th, Thorp impressed with 23 goals, 21 assists, and 44 points in 51 games. A 38-point increase from the season before. An excellent shot and nice hands. He's a huge, huge and hard to move out in front of the net. A big part of his game is that he's hard to move out in front of the net, so he's a big net presence there. Uses his body to win pucks. Skating needs work, and his shot mechanics. Even though I said he's got a good shot, he needs to improve the mechanics on it, and improving how he uses that big body will be important if he wants to make the NHL. So, I mean, this kid sounds interesting. He's got potential. I think I'm going to give it a B. He's big, that's for sure. He's got definitely the NHL body. We'll see how he does. I mean, like I said, I think all these guys are a bit high risk, high reward. But I think there's some potential here with Thorp. Moving up to round 4, at pick number 102, we find defenseman Owen Proz. He's a 6'1", 213-pound defenseman from Brantford of the OHL. He is low-scoring, good defensively, very physical shutdown D with good size, and very physical. I saw him referred to as a bully out there. Although he looks like he's 10. Big hits along the boards, anticipates well, good positionally, good shot, offensive potential there. But his potential, don't know. Needs to work on his skating. Transitional game needs work, and will have to improve if he wants to make the NHL. There's an element of risk in picking Proz, so like I said, risk. But you know he's got potential, and there's potential for a high reward here. But he's also more than a few years away from Montreal, which is fine. Montreal's got so many defensive prospects. I'm giving this a B. It may end up like a B plus with this kid. He could really be a good pick here for Montreal. I'm going to move up to round 3 now and pick number 78, and we find Logan Sawyer. He is a left wing, 6'1", 173. He plays for the Brooks Bandits of the AJHL and the BCHL, and I don't know if the team moved into a new league or they have 2 teams, one in each. I don't know. A player with a longer-term projection, as he won't get to college till the fall of 2025, like I forget who it was earlier. Played in both the AJHL and the BCHL last season for the Brooks Bandits. In the AJHL, 39 games, 26 goals, 33 assists, 59 points. Awesome numbers. In the BCHL, 20 games, 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points. So that tells me, obviously, BCHL is a step up in league. High energy game that he can keep going like all game. Good hockey IQ. Has to work on his skating stride, but shifts gears well. Good in transition and zone entries. Needs work on his stick handling a bit, playmaking a bit, a good goal scorer, good work ethic to go along with that high energy. Good potential if he makes it. He's probably 4 or 5 years away. So like I say, guys that are, they're not coming up next year or the year after, right? But it seems like another kind of high risk, high reward, though, kind of kid. And I'm going to give it a B, and I'm thinking a B plus, but I'm going to give it a B because I don't know anything else about this kid. So yeah, a B. That's it. Okay, staying in round 3, this is one of my favorite picks of the draft, and that is at number 70, Aleks Kivu. He's a center. He's Saku's kid, and he's 6 feet or 6'1", depending on where you look. 165, so he'll need to put on a little bit of muscle to make it to the NHL. But But, you know, Saku at 6 feet or 6'1" would have been like a superstar, like without a doubt. So can Ados live up to that? He's got the potential to be a really good NHLer, a two-way center. Skates well, good shot, high hockey IQ with a strong defensive game. Who does he compare himself to? That's a really good question. And I saw his answer was Sebastian Aho, not the defenseman. So, you know, that's a really good comparison if that is true. That's how he sees himself. He'll play in Liga next season and continue to build strength. He has, I think, a legitimate shot to make it, but he's still got a lot of work to do. He won't be at training camp. I don't think. He didn't know exactly if he would be or wouldn't be. I kind of think not. He's going to stay in Finland. Habs have a guy now stationed in his town where he is. I think that's going to be really good. And it brings Saku Koivu back into the fold of the Habs family, and I just love this pick. Will it work out? I don't know. There's still a higher risk, and potentially a high reward there. So, but I love the pick because it's Koivu's kid, and there's a legitimate shot for him to make the NHL, and they didn't reach for him at 70. I think that was fine right there. So move up now to the first round because they didn't have a second round pick. Now, these guys definitely, not as high risk, but I think there's really high reward for both of them without a doubt. And at pick number 21 in the first round was Michael Hage. He is a center winger. I'm not sure what side he plays. I think it's a right wing, but it could be left, obviously. So now, there's a funny story. As I was writing this, I wrote his name and that he's a forward, and I look up because I'm watching the development camp game, and I see, boom, player. Oh, it's Hage. Gets a puck in the left circle, makes a move and shoots and scores. And I'm like, what? That's like crazy. So I write that down. Hage scores a goal at the development camp scrimmage game, and I wrote that, looked up. A few seconds later, he assists and gets the primary assist on a goal. So 2 goals in like 30 seconds or less. So I wrote, he looks great. I look up again. I'm watching for maybe 15 seconds or so. And they score again. His team, because it's red and white, so I think he's on the red. Red scores, and I don't see who scores or anything like that. And I'm just watching, and I see his line go off, or the line go off, and I see he's on that line. So 3 goals in less than 2 minutes. He got 1. He got a primary assist on the other, and I don't know about the third if he got anything, because they don't give you that in the development camp game. But, I mean, this is, like, incredible. It's, like, a great omen, and I think it's a great pick here. Let's see what I wrote about him. He's got size. He's 6'1", 188. Oh, okay, there you go. I got it over here. So he's got the size, skates well, really skates well, and he likes to carry the puck up ice, from the defensive zone and into the offensive zone. He handles the puck well. He creates on his own, or he can elevate a line, which I saw, for my own eyes. Plays hard. Good vision. He's got a good work ethic and a high hockey IQ. He had 33 goals, 42 assists for 75 points in 54 games with Chicago Steel of the USHL. He's a good power play guy, and he's got second line center potential. So, you're worried about Doc getting injured. This is a guy that they did draft, in case of that, could play wing. This is a top 6 potential player. So I really like this. I gave it an A. I really like this pick. His parents and grandparents and all kinds of family are from Montreal. He's from Mississauga, I think, but he speaks French, and the French media like him, and we'll see. I think he's got really good potential. Next up is the first pick that they made, the number 5 pick overall, and that is, I think y'all know by now, is Ivan Demidov. He's a winger. And a good one. Demidov is a home run here. Even though I was a Tijiginla guy, there's no doubt Demidov is a home run here. he's top six forward. I don't think that's in doubt. I think that's his floor, and a ceiling that says he could be a first line superstar if he gets there. A legitimate potential, in my opinion, 100+ point player. Not saying in his first year, second year, maybe not third, but at some point in his career, I think he's a 100+ point player and perennially up in that area, you know. With a skill set that sets him above others. He's got crazy stick handling skills. His skating is fantastic. He's so agile, uses the edge as well, makes moves. You go, what? Like, watch highlights of him, you'll see. I'll try to include some in this. I'm recording this, obviously, before I edit. Let's see what else I got. He was the consensus number 2 best defensive forward in the draft. Why did he fall? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, but I'm glad he did. He could be the final piece in the 3-year rebuild. It's been 3 years so far under this management. You know, that Gordon and Hughes have been working on, and they've been doing a great job. And Montreal's scouting department. He'll lift this offense where it needs to go, along with Caulfield, Suzuki, Slav, Hudson, Doc, Newhook. You know, those games where they need a goal, they need maybe 2 goals, and they just can't get it done. This is a guy that can make that change. He should be great on the power play, and his creativity is just off the charts. So this is obviously an A+ pick. I mean, the future is in this kid's hands almost, with all the great players that are here already, but this guy sort of cements all that and brings it all together. You know, they may add more to go along with him, but I think the rebuild is basically done. They'll start developing these guys into their positions, and in 2-3 years, they're going to be a playoff team. And, you know, they'll make some tweaks here and there, of course. We don't all know the future. I love this pick. Love it. I can't say enough about it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Yeah, let me know what grades you would have given these guys. If I was crazy or whatever. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe. Peace out. And have a great one. Ciao, everybody.